segment that we're going to be doing. We've got
I like the graphic.
that's a cool graphic. I like that. Yeah, views from the vault. We've got Christian going to talk about a film from Hitchcock, and we're going to bring Kathryn out to talk about Hitchcock as well just after the break. So Hitchcock's a really interesting character, a classic, legendary filmmaker. And does he hold up, and do his films hold up, is something to kind of talk about to the 20-somethings out there. So, Christian, you got a chance to check out North by Northwest, so give us your thoughts and takes on this film.
Yeah, so North by Northwest, just in case you haven't seen it, is a film just about this average businessman that's mistaken for a government agent. And so he gets kidnapped by another secret agency, and he's chased around, he's shot at, attacked, he's framed for a murder. And so just the entire film is about him trying to figure out, why was I mistaken for this person, and what are these people actually after? And so it was a really fun film, and I've mentioned before, to me it felt like the first James Bond film, because this came out in '59 before any of the Bond films.
Yeah.
And it really just had this like cool spy thriller kind of feel to it, because he's an action hero, but he's also got this mystery about him. He's trying to solve the case of what's going on here. You've of course got the romance plot that's always involved. And I'm really impressed, and I'd definitely say that Hitchcock holds up in this instance.
Okay,
the effects, everything.
Shot selections, the Mount Rushmore scene is the one that everyone just continues to talk about.
And the biplane.
Oh yeah, and the plane. Time and time again, those are the things that people talk about. And so you felt those were pretty amazing shots.
Yeah, and I think that you have to give all the credit to Hitchcock and his cinematographer as well, because I think Hitchcock shows you just as much as you need to know. And I think especially during this time, filmmakers might have made the mistake of trying to show you too much. Now we live in an age where you can show whatever you want. With CGI, really, you can show any effect, any shot you want. But at that time, you couldn't. And I think that Hitchcock had the wonderful vision to be able to see exactly what shot would look the most realistic without giving away so much that you would say, oh, that doesn't look like it's actually happening.
Right. All right, so what rating would you give this film?
I gave it a B+. It holds up really well.
All right, North by Northwest, a B+, holding up very well to the 20-somethings out there. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Pa Engel over there. We got the Tim Cam back there in the background. Kathryn's going to step up and come around. Christian, thanks for hanging out with us this part of the show. We're going to send you back there and let you hang out with Miranda and Tim. Be back with more Meet Me in the Movies right after this.
Gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me.
Welcome back to Meet Me in the Movies. I think the heat is turned up to 128 degrees plus in here. These lights are hot.
You don't have the flu, do you?
I don't have the flu.
If...
No, I don't have the flu. I am Noel T. Man II. That is Greg Tillman. No, that is not Nellie Olson. But it could be.
Thanks for explaining.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We are happy to have Kathryn Manning to my right. Hello, Kathryn. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Excellent. Welcome back. We're glad to have you back. I know last week you were doing scholarly stuff, so you were not joining, hanging out with us. You and Christian both checked out Alfred Hitchcock films. He took on what, North by Northwest, and you took on Rear Window with Jimmy Stewart. Let's get your thoughts on this film and share if you thought it held up.
Okay. Well, first of all, my grandfather's name was Jimmy Stewart, so I always just associate, you know, that Jimmy Stewart with my grandpa. So it's got to be a good movie.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go.
So this was a 1954 film, and it's basically about a man who has like injured himself on his job. He's a photographer for a magazine, and he's injured himself, and he's basically bedridden or home-ridden for about 6 or 7 weeks. So he's recovering, and he passes the time by staring out the window and observing his neighbors. I mean, as one does, when there's nothing else to do. And
I know I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all do it.
And I've never broken my leg.
Well, you know, if you look behind me, you see these windows behind me. There's many times that Greg's just kind of looking out that window. So, yeah, it happens.
Everyone needs a hobby.
Absolutely. But Jimmy Stewart's character does it with a camera, is that right?
He does. He uses
even worse.
the lens to zoom in and see the people, and he thinks that he sees possibly something just not right. He becomes convinced that his neighbor has murdered his wife.
Yeah, that's not right. Yeah, that's not right. So if you think you've seen that, you need to report that. So does he report it?
And Kind of, in his own way.
Yeah.
He reports it to a friend who kind of calls him crazy. And he tells his nurse and his girlfriend. And so they kind of begin this amateur sleuthing game
So
to try to figure
the story
out.
question is really, did something really happen? Did a murder really take place? And you
Right.
kind of follow that.
Right.
So do you feel this film held up, and why or why not?
I did feel like it held up. It was a little bit slow paced, and I think
Yep.
that's pretty normal for older movies. But it kept my attention because I said that I kept coming up with conspiracy theories.
Okay.
I kept thinking, well, like maybe other neighbors are in on it, or maybe this happened, or maybe this happened. So it was kind of a guessing game, and I liked that. And I read about how Alfred Hitchcock, basically, he doesn't give you like a whodunit story. He basically gives you all the facts and then, you know, lets you kind of take that as you will. And so I think he did that in this movie.
So
and
you become part of you're trying to help answer some of the questions yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed it. I would
Okay.
give it a B+. I think it stands up, just like Christian said, with North by Northwest.
So, you know, known for some of his innovative and creative shots with cinematography, you felt you saw that with this film as well.
I did. It was really interesting seeing the view from the camera lens.
Right, point of view shots.
And it was also basically just one set. And so to be able to do a movie that captures someone's attention with just one set, I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever been on the stage, but it could be.
Oh, it could easily be a stage. Yeah. I mean, there was a great remake of it with Christopher Reeves. Yeah. But good movie, B+ for Rear Window. Well, Kathryn, we had also